Hello today! And yes, I've had a haircut. Anyway, we got a video response to do today. Well, we don't have to, but I want to Novabug. And he asks, do you play games better on original hardware? I would say, well, bloody hell. Last time I had original hardware was the PlayStation 3. Obviously, I have no emulation. Well, I do have an emulation for that, but I've never used it. So, I would say yes, because of the system comes with set control pads and yeah, etc, etc. Basically, yeah, I would say yeah, because I had a PlayStation 2 once. That's when I was in the States, and I actually got a generic PlayStation, a controller for the PlayStation 2, but it wasn't the Sony controller. It was a generic brand, and I honestly say that controller was felt and I played better with that controller than the original Sony controller. It's not just a case of the original hardware, it's the controllers, but as I say, that generic controller for the PlayStation 2, I just felt it just felt more comfortable. I've got more with grips with it. So sometimes the original hardware and some okay, I don't know what the fuck am I saying? My first beer of the day and I've already got tongue tied, so there is companies out there that do produce some good controllers. It was cheap, and actually was cheaper than the original Sony controller, and I felt it was better. It just felt nicer. Controls, you know, I think the triggers were slightly longer, or the handles were slightly longer, or something like that. Just felt so much better to play with on the game. So, well, that's just my take on it. Anyway, getting back to the story about emulators. I know he was saying it's not a question about which is better, emulators or the original hardware, but I honestly got to say emulators are a fantastic piece of software. As I say, I do all my gaming reviews with emulators. I don't use original hardware rather, only because I haven't got any original hardware. The only original piece of hardware I've got is the Amstrad CPC 464, but the thing is I have hardly any games for it, and to set up with capture software it'd just be hard work. So it's just so convenient to use emulators to do the gaming reviews, and they play exactly the same. Because the good thing about the old 8-bit days, the computer, especially with the Amstrad, the Commodore 64, even the Commodore Amiga, which is 16-bit, you could buy generic control pads or joysticks, which were all different, and that's what the beauty was about it back in the day. You can buy any joystick with that. I don't know what the port is, special port. It was a standard port back in the day. No, it wasn't USB. USB didn't exist back then, but it was the standard for, you know, like the joysticks, control pads, mouses, and you all, you know, whatever joystick you preferred, you buy it, you play it, and it was brilliant. So to me, it didn't really matter about the 8 bits so much. I saw it was more the consoles, because like the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo had their own control pads. Or same with the Sega Saturn, Sega Mega Drive, which I've never really played. I've only played on the Mega Drive, I think, once in my life. Yes, I know that's pretty bad. But as I say, I wasn't much of a console person. I was more into computers. But I've copied. Fucking hell, what am I talking about? I've covered this on previous videos, so there's no point in me talking about that. But no, I think emulators are good. As I say, I do all my reviews with them. As I say, I've got closest thing to retro joystick is this, but I don't really use this joystick because it makes too much noise. I mean, so clicking. But it is a good joystick. It's based on the Competition Pro. It's a great joystick. It's very retro. It plays very retro. So this is sometimes what I use to play a game. But as I say, I don't use the review. Don't use it for reviews. It's just too noisy. I actually use either keys or balls. This. Oh, why's my camera gone out of focus? Fucking hell! Here we go. This is a thrust. Oh no, it's not. Yeah, it is a Thrustmaster. Sorry, but the good thing about this, it's very quiet because you don't have to bang it to get the joystick. You just go like that. You can hardly hear it. Buttons are so quiet. It's so quiet, these buttons. Just tap it and it just... It's a nice joystick to play with, actually. Not in that way. I'm not a pervert. I'm meant to play games. So I use this. Because it's very quiet. I know it's not exactly retro, but it will do. It's, as I say, it's nice and quiet, and I play the games with that. Because you might wonder why you don't hardly hear any clicking noises when I do my reviews. That's the reason, because that joystick's so quiet you don't have to pull it. You just nicely slide it to one side and it works. Because it's got a motion, because it's made for modern gaming, and it's more, you know, just push it a little bit, it's not flying a plane, isn't it? But with that, when it's set up for a retro game, you just push it a little bit and it responds. So that's what I use. Yeah, it's a good. Actually, it is a good question what Novabug's saying. I honestly think maybe original hardware rather, you would play a game better. Honestly, because it was a retro thing, and also another thing. Today TVs or monitors, they're widescreen, which back in the day was what, 3x4, wasn't it? So you got more of you didn't get wide effect. It was more this, but you got more. I thought you got more screen. All it is now, it's just made wider, 16:9. So obviously with today, all what it will do, it'll either stretch the picture out, so it wouldn't look right anyway, or you're just lumbered with two big black lines on the side of the screen. But you've got to try and get it as retro as possible, so you have to have the two black lines, just, you know, to get the proper picture, not stretched out, because I hate that when the picture's stretched out. But the good thing about emulators, pardon me, you can put it in a box or make it full screen or just have it like that, so you can get the picture the way you want it, and record it. As I said before on previous videos, I use Bandicam because it's so easy to use. You can set it up the way you want to. You can record the actual screen as you want, or you can set it to what you want to record, which is a good piece of software. That's what I use. I know you can use Fraps, but I can't get on with Fraps very well. Yeah, I don't know what else to say now. Yeah, I hope this is well, it probably isn't, but probably people will make a better response than me. But you know, I thought I'd make a response to it because it is a good question. Yeah, so I would say maybe I would play games better on original hardware because it was back in the day. As I say, I don't have original hardware now besides the Amstrad, which I hardly use. Everything's on emulator nowadays. I'm probably so out of practice with games, that's why I'm pretty bad at games now. But I wasn't a bad gaming player back in the day. As I say, I completed a few games. On the PlayStation 2, that was the last time I completed anything. That was the Getaway games. Getaway and Getaway 2, Black Mondays. I actually completed them both. Okay, I had to use cheats, but but it wasn't a big cheat. It was just like extra firepower or something like that. That's it. Just extra guns and limited ammo. I think that's all it was basically. Okay, it took me a while to complete, but it was good, they were good games to complete. I'd say they were the last 2 games I ever completed, and that was on the PlayStation 2 using original software. Original hardware, the actual PlayStation 2, and that nice generic controller. I can't remember what the brand was on that, but the control was so nice to use. It was made, yeah, obviously it was made for the PlayStation 2, but it was, as I say, it was better than the original Sony PlayStation controllers, Sony PlayStation 2 controllers. It had all the dual shock, everything on it, and it all lit up. I saw something else I remember, it all lit up in blue. It was really nice, and I think it was about $10 or $15, because as I say, I was living in the States then when I had it. It was a really nice controller. Anyway, I'm going to end this video now. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, and goodbye.